heading on towards Night Market to start things off here. Should we expect anything different? Not from Misfits, from LDLC as a team who's maybe not as confident in this matchup.
Well, right now Clown is on the Junkrat, which would be super interesting. You almost never see it on this stage, so he's going to rotate very on. I might be wrong, but you guys are a little more well-versed in history than it. Wasn't Clown an enemy territory player?
Yes, way back. With
yeah, and I remember people who were big fans of that game always had a great respect for his strategy and his mind for the game, so if anyone's going to be able to adapt something interesting to a new meta, then it might be Clown here. But they're going to roll out here. Skipjack is on the Winston, which is something we see a lot on this map, but he's playing pretty passively right now. Now going to jump in with the competition. Even on King of the Hill, as Nevix eats a lot of damage early, so does Skipjack. That is both of them going down as a result of that bio grenade, so they get the early lead in numbers here, 5v4 going on at the point capture.
Yo, the Sombra though, is Everside bringing that one out here. First one we've sort of seen this all night, and seems happy enough, and he's been quite comfortable so far and actually staying out of harm's way. He tried to go in and get a few hacks from behind under stealth earlier on in that fight, but wasn't able to make it happen. Still getting it done. Picks up Clown here. It's going to be a while before we really see if it's going to be the pick, but a Tracer and Sombra, it's triple DPS here. This is so weird from Misfits.
This is one of the most annoying things to play against at all times, which is why they're running the Winston as well, so you can just zone out the areas. And then it's like the Velociraptor attack. You're going to be looking at the Tracer in front of you, and then it's going to be Genji and Sombra from the sides, the two that you didn't even know were there. And yeah, they're just going to clever girled all day here.
And the EMP available already for Zebasai here as well. I have to see what he chooses to do with it. And he's going to let that one go now as well. Straight in the mix here. Uber's going to go straight over the edge and climb back up, but he's not going to be along for this world. He is still hacked, so he's lacking abilities here. And soon going to be able to find Meta and Mesomorphous all on his own here. Cooler wants to boop him, but his teammate's going to get the kill earlier on. I don't think LDLC are remotely ready for what Misfits just brought out.
Well, this is a good change, though, because you have to run Winston in this because there's just too much going on around you to run any other tank. You need the Tesla Cannon, you need the aim assist. I think Meza, the moment he uses Earth Shatter, will be off of this tank as well. I think running Reinhardt seems like a nightmare against this comp.
Well, Dragonblade's got to grab Benevix here as well. He's trying to get something happening with the Oni skin, but very little to be fair. Uber does go down to soon, but Meta manages to find it. But now Skipjack's going to get the Nano Boost over on the point. It's an Earth Shatter, but Skipjack avoids it. He gets up close and the cone doesn't catch him. Now into Primal Rage. Oh, Cabal going off the edge there. Poor guy, not much you can do about that one. Mesomorphous, oh no, he's going to go as well. The knockoff's a real. Clown can't respond from this either, and Skipjack has one-man beasted through the entirety of LDLC. That's got to hurt.
Well, LDLC is going to have to find something here to make an impression to get on the point, because last fight is incoming. They're going to have Sound Barrier, they're going to have Dragon Blade, which is something that you can combo together. Deadeye will clean it up in the back end too. They keep rotating to the right side, and it has not worked for them at all.
Oh, Pulse Bomb goes down, but it's a Sound Barrier here, keeping this side of Misfits very, very healthy. And again, Clown struggling to stay alive. He doesn't go off the edge, and that's something, but it might not be enough here. Uber gets hacked in by Zebasai pressing forward. He throws his Translocator onto the point, and he's just going to dash forward. It's as easy as that, and a skill gap is being exacerbated here by Misfits playing something that LDLC really weren't ready for. We're into overtime, but Mez is not going to get towards the point. That is done and dusted. Slasher, what did we just see?
Well, there you go. Yeah, Dynamite. And then you add in Sombra, and that's what can happen. You pretty much get obliterated if you're not ready for it.
I mean, the Tracer Sombra as well, this is so frustrating. I mean, you've got three incredibly mobile DPSs. I mean, we're not seeing a 76 McCree being played here. How annoying is it for Clanton as well to try and swat away this triple threat that's always getting in his face? This must be a nightmare.
At this point,
I mean, they're going to have to run Mirror, or they're going to have to do something completely different.
Yeah, this is the smart move, though. They're getting off of the Reinhardt. I cannot imagine trying to run a Reinhardt versus those 3 DPS. That's just brutally or just swinging around to do absolutely nothing. So they will bring in a Zarya instead. And Slasher's got the inkling correct that they are going to run part of a Mirror, but apparently no one's super comfortable on Sombra, as they're only going to run a Genji and a Tracer instead.
We're going to watch Zebasai a little bit now as well. He did throw a Translocator off towards the right. Quick tap on the health pack now to make it inaccessible to LDLC as he spreads a little bit of damage again. Going to make sure he can get out of the fight if he needs to. And it's a quick dash with that Translocator. Again, he's going to drop aggro essentially as the Winston was looking for him. And the amount of freedom he has in this fight to do whatever he wants is ridiculous. And it seems like the mental bandwidth of LDLC as Hex is so taxed that they can't deal with everything that's being thrown at them right now. It's just overwhelming.
Well, here's why Sombra is going to be really good. This is the first stage that came to mind when I thought of Sombra, because you can deny the health packs from the flankers, and they're playing right into it by running 2 flankers onto this map. You see the packs are hacked. Those small packs are absolutely the lifeblood that gives Tracer and Genji the full force on this map, so they are hacked, they are gone. Off of the Genji now, they're going to go to a Roadhog instead. They need to try to hit some hooks to deal with this, but again, just isolated out, they are getting beat up.
I mean, I don't even know if this is the Sombra pick not being responded to, or this is just Misfits being very, very good. But whichever it is, it's not a good sign for LDLC. They're not showing us much in this fight at all. Meta does find Suno on that Zarya here, but there's not enough people from LDLC able to contest the point. A pulse bomb just thrown willy-nilly by Clanton doesn't connect onto anyone at all, and Meta's doing the heavy lifting right now as Nevix and Cooler trying to stay alive, or at least maintain a presence. But guess who's back? It's Skipjack, and he's going to be laying it down. It's a shocking reception for LDLC as they're forced off the point by that test mechanic.
There comes the Sombra ultimate, silences everyone, and now they're going to sound barrier of their own into it, knowing that it cannot be responded by an enemy sound barrier. Nevix, Skipjack, and Soon all get kills on the board. Meza is on this Reinhardt yet again. I'm a little confused by it, but he does find a kill somehow with the swing of his hammer. He is taken down late into the fight. I don't know. What do you think? What would you do on this roster? What would you switch? Is there anything that you think is an answer, or is Misfits just going to outclass LDLC?
I mean, the problem is, I think the LDLC are playing quite fast and loose here, trying to be aggressive, but the problem is that they're playing aggressive into a comp that they're not really actively thinking about how to combat. They're just trying to go, go, go. Look at this again. Hexley going for it now. Graviton Surge connects, but the follow-up, non-existent. Great sleep dart on towards Mesomorphos to put him on his rear end. The sound barrier does get through this time, but Skipjack's still kicking his way through. It's an electric monkey in both senses of the term now, trying to catch on toward this tester counter, but soon gets a quick double here. Free to look for Clown now. And despite a good start for LDLC on that fight, they're going to struggle. They didn't even flip the point back, so this is going to be an overtime, and no one's going to be here to touch the point. First round, or second round, should I say, hugely going in favor of Misfits. And I don't know, I'd love to bounce that question back at you for just a moment, Hex. What do you do about this Sombra now if you're not going to play it yourself?
I think you have to play her yourself at a certain point because you need packs on King of the Hill maps, especially if you're going to try to run that. I really, like, not to harp on it too, but I really do not like the Reinhardt pick. We've seen Reinhardt struggle all day when shields are getting cracked. These are 3 heroes that are going to be behind you. You only have 180 degrees of coverage, and they are making his life miserable. It's like watching mosquitoes harass an elephant, and there's just nothing they can do about it. So I do like the pick here of switching onto a D.Va, because you have to try something a little bit, hopefully eat up some of those bullets. Maybe that's enough to help your Reinhardt out a little bit, but they need to kind of play closer together, because the moment they put 10 meters of space between themselves, they're getting picked apart by this 3-headed monster of DPS.
Yeah, or a bunch of piranhas, whichever way you want to look at it. It is a Cerberus of DPS, so there's no doubt about it. We'll see what happens, though, in this regard. I mean, Skipjack already jumping on towards the bridge here, starting things up, going to bounce himself right back up here, and immediately put LDLC into disarray. Nevix falls early, though, and there's Clan to respond. And Cooler, the man himself, gets himself a beautiful double there as well, and that's got to be a boop of some description. And now it's going to be a 4-man squad of LDLC trying to push forward, but guess who's bouncing back in? It's Skipjack. He's returned. Clown falls there to him, and Zevasai finds Cabal. Even though LDLC looked to be an advantage to start with, it's quickly thrown back in their face.
I think Clown made the call to suicide, and then no one else did. That was odd. He just literally jumped off the bridge there, was not forced onto it at all. It did work out a little bit better. The earlier pick on Nevik should have spelled that it would have been LDLC's fight early there, but it was not. Ultimate advantage is definitely in favor of Misfits as they continue to harass. Soon's Tracer is top tier, to say the least, and they've been absolutely crushing it.
No, I mean, he is, to be fair, a Shoot Mania world champion. So I mean, the main Canadian, there's no doubt about it. But when Zevasai backing up a little bit now and kind of has to, he's still though. There's never going to be threat on this Sombra. There's so much more to deal with, and now there's an EMP available, and he lets it loose straight away. Mene, you're not going to be shielding anything, mate. Not even a defensive matrix available for that D.Va, and he's going to be cut down, desuited, and then taken down to size. Zeva with a quick double Earth Shatter, but he dodges out of it. The speed boost there, helping out a lot. It's a very nimble Sombra, but eventually gets hooked in.
They do find some answers here, though. That's 3 kills. This is their best chance to take over the point. I have to imagine that they'll be able to do it. Soon is going to do his best to just keep them distracted, keep the points under contention, and stay alive himself. Does a very good job early on, taken out by Clanton though. This is finally a ray of hope. Maybe, nope, he do jump into the Winston over the top. They are bleeding onto this point, but any death on this point right now is totally fine. You just want that percentage up. A ray of hope finally coming through for LDLC as they land a nice hook as well. This might be the composition that will solve it. They are staying closer together. They're keeping Mezzo alive. He's getting spelled a little bit by Meat, who's got the shield on him to keep his shield alive, and the hooks are actually landing there for Oob.
Yeah, I mean, for Uber, that's been very important that he's been hitting as many of these hooks as he has, actually. I've noticed those over the fights. And also, if you're D.Va, I like it from Meadow. To be fair, those flankers have to get close to D.Va, which is where she thrives in terms of her damage. But it's going to be double sound barrier coming out now as well. Whole hog from Uber, and Zebasai has to go into raid form to avoid getting knocked off. Going to be a self-destruct in. Skipjack, the only one to fall with D.Va so far, but Uber has the nano boost of all people, and he gets 2 quick kills off the back of it. Clearly doing something right as he also takes the scalp of Nevix.
Well, you see just what a problem that this tank composition is now posing for them with Ube on the Roadhog and also the D.Va, so much so that Zebo is now off of the Sombra, sadly enough, but he's on the Reaper because they have to find a way to do all the damage that they need to these tanks, and Sombra's just not cutting it as far as just pure damage output goes. A beautiful hook again, put soon at the bottom of the pond.
I have to say, you know, it's quite interesting now seeing Cooler play instead of Crew and enabling Zebasai to play damage again, you know? It's quite fascinating. It's worked out really well, but he's switched off that Sombra now.
Yeah, Oob hits another hook, takes down soon early, then took down Nevix on the Genji. He is not missing hooks, and it has been the revitalization that they needed.
Yeah, perfect stuff. It's going to be a Dragon Blade here for Nevix. He gets a Nano Boost as well. This could be nasty. Beautiful Earth Shatter coming in, though, and that's nicely done, but still there's a Nevix that needs to be dealt with. Eventually, though, he has to put that sword away, but he gets Mesomorphous anyway. 3 kills for Nevix, but where's the rest of the team? Soon trying to plug away here with the McCree, trying to give respect to the damage up close that Meta can output, and Soon has to wait for the rest of his team to join. Fortunately, they're going to have the man advantage. They've got a brief power play window here, and this will be enough to flip the point back.
It's the second time the Clown has just been on a different page from his team, though. They left him there to die as the D.Va ran out of there. I don't know exactly why she had urgent business elsewhere, but Clown dies alone on the point, which is going to already turn this to 6v5.
Yeah, somehow Uber wasn't able to finish off Nevix there as well. He got the hook on towards the Genji, but didn't have anything in the chamber. Maybe needed to reload. I'm not sure, but that could really hurt LDLC here. They needed to pick him off, and Soon doing what he does best. Hit scan, aficionado coming out with the McCree, and Nevix gets a quick double as well. This is scary. One more chance for LDLC to flip back. They don't have any ults directly to hand now. Hopefully Clan will give them a sound barrier and he'll have a whole hog, but they might need more than that here to retake. Now there's a Death Blossom and an Earth Shatter in play.
It's been a nice response from Misfits too, getting off of the squishy dancers around and then switching on to something a little more substantial. Although Soon is back on the Tracer now. That's a nice kill on Cooler, so they're going to have a huge advantage as far as Soundbarrier goes. But that Earth Shatter might equalize things. Those shields are going to dissipate. The D.Va ult goes off in the back lines. This is going to be LDLC taking this stage.
Uber just won this round, 100%. 100% he just won that round. It was a 4-man Earth Shatter from Skipjack. He knocked almost everyone on the side of LDLC down, and then Zebasai steps forward and he said, it's time to use the Death Blossom. And Uber just hooks him in and kills him straight away. Zebasai died with ult available. There was no Zarya, of course, on the side of Misfits to help him out in that situation, but just get absolutely wrecked. A 1-man performance there in a lot of that round, and Uber's going to keep LDLC alive here on Lijiang Tower. Now we're going to be back to Night Market, and they're looking revitalized, just as you said.
They did find an answer to it, and it's just making sure that everyone has bigger health pools and adding more shields into it. I mean, Meza has been helped out a lot by Meat, who is just keeping his shield alive, and also just keeping all the damage off of his backline. The shield and the matrix, the defense matrix, is working really well. Mostly just to keep Meza alive, who had a miserable first stage, which is actually the stage we're back on now. Nevic's gonna switch it up. He's running the 76 now.
Yeah, so no more Sombra here, no more shenanigans as Misfits realize they kind of let things slip a little bit here. Early damage comes out, no shields are being broken. In fact, it was Mez's that got broken very, very early on. He's going to have to recharge that a little bit. And it's going to be an Errant's hook coming out from the side of Uber, not connecting. Misfits are going to make their way in towards a closed area now as well, and hopefully they fancy this fight as Soon as looking to use those close quarters with the Hellfire shotguns to his advantage.
Well, there's a charge that comes in, and Skipjack taken out immediately afterwards by Ube. There's Clanton takes down Soon as well. Just this front line is playing so well together. They are so beefy, allowing Cabal and Clanton and everyone in the back line to do all the damage that they need. And now on the chase, they're able to take down Zebo. And I think just adding in the D.Va, as Slasher said, D.Va is amazing and a little bit broken, has helped out everyone. Yes, you're getting a big performance out of Ube, but it's mostly based on how everyone is still alive. As I said, Mez is now going to be alive long enough that he's got his Earth Shatter up. They're going to be able to snowball this in. The only ult up is Nevix's Assault Tactical Visor. So right now it is LDLC in firm control, and there has been no real answer to the D.Va.
Yeah, that hook is so good. Zebo's able to shield himself just in time though, and Skipjack and Soon wants to get in, but last fight he got completely isolated and couldn't find any squishy targets because there aren't many on the side of LDLC. This durable, this meaty tank line is doing wonders for them now. First Shatter comes in, Skipjack's going to go over the edge with Ube. That's a 1-for-1 trade. He'll have to take that, but Soon gets knocked down. Can't do anything with the Earth Shatter, but Cooler gets a nice little boop off on Clanton. He deals with him nicely, and this might be the fight that Misfits were looking for. Mesa gets caught out there, can't use his defense matrix too much at all, and now Zebo, Nevix, Cooler and Co going to press forward here. They won't have control, and credit to LDLC for holding on for as long as they have here. Reinforcements are on the way.
I think it's brilliant to just be holding this corner right now. You see it never flipped over. They've held for about 20%. Here comes some late ultimates, and again, even throwing these out as a waste, they are still in control of the point. They are buying time. Skipjack gets almost nothing done on the boost. He's going to find himself isolated and taken down as well. LDLC has found a recipe to deal with what Misfits was going for, and now Misfits is trying to kind of scramble and bring this back. I think introducing the Zarya is smart. That's one way to deal with the D.Va, but it hasn't been ultra effective. They need to win this next fight, otherwise we're going to go to a stage 5.
I mean, I love it. I like the change we've seen from LDLC, and now one more fight. It's going to have to be it. There is a Graviton available for Zebo. It's going to have to be good, though. It's going to be a sound barrier as well used. Earthshatter comes out. It's not being used, but Meta gets a double kill there with the self-destruct. Perfect opening for him now. Nevix does find Mesa, but again, it's going to be LDLC. They put the foot down. They lay down the law, and they're going to take this to a 5th round. And now it's Misfits who have struggled to adapt and respond. Slasher, would you agree with that? Do you think Misfits are just sort of unaware, I guess, of maybe how to counter this big beefy comp that's being thrown in their face, or is it just D.Va hype?
Well, Triple Tank, still really good, and D.Va's really good, and Roadhog, as I mentioned earlier, if they can get picks, it's always going to put the fights in your favor, and Oog has done a lot of damage so far. So him continuing to get picks and D.Va making it difficult for Misfits right now, I think is a big reason why they're winning.
It's filthy, Hex. I mean, what is the answer? Is there an answer here to ask you of dealing with this combo of D.Va now being thrown in the mix with the Roadhog? Is it as simple as not getting hooked?
I think it's target priority, and I think they have to make D.Va a priority. That's going to be a lot on Nevix to get dashes through and Zebo. They need to combine and really make sure the D.Va's out of the fight, because they struggle when she's not there, and it makes the other tanks have to play much more cautiously. They try to dive, but Meat takes out Nevix immediately. They are able to switch off a couple, though, taking down Clanton and Cabal. That is a lot of the firepower of LDLC down, and there goes Mezzo as the Reaper finally finding purchase in the back of Reinhardt. So they did dive the D.Va enough to make her less effective, and were able to clean up afterwards.
I mean, even with Nevix getting flashed early in that fight and getting completely dusted, it seems as if the backup was very, very good, and Soon was able to find those tanks. So they will establish control, and Soon's going to be hiding off in towards that left corner, waiting for the push in. He's going to be looking for Clanton or Cabal here. Oh, it's just too easy. It's a shooting gallery for Soon. Check your damn corners. It's exactly what happened to Energy over in Apex there as well, if you remember that fateful day. But still, it should be a clean fight here for the side of Misfits, and that's a great sign, as that ultimate percentage is so much more valuable right now.
They have readjusted, and it's a lot just focusing and making sure that Meat dies, and having that defense has hurt Mezzo. It has hurt everyone around him, not being able to stay alive. Soon is going to just chill back in the corner again. Yeah, checker corners has been a thing forever, and still no one checks their corners, and it loses games. They're going to switch, though. Clanton now off the McCree, as he's had no luck with it. Is going to switch to the Tracer now. I'm not certain it's the right move, but they have to try something different.
Yeah, well, Clanton's going to be split, though, as well. So if we see Soon get to the back line, there'll be no one to really challenge him out there. You can see an attempt to disengage from LDLC kind of working out. Nevix is hooked in there. Soon forced to back away here, and this might be a slight overextension, but Soon, well, we've seen this one before. It is going to be the death blossom, but he gets hooked again. Uber is going absolutely nuts here. And that's a phrase I always wished I'd hear in my pro career, but it never happened. This time, though, it's real. Now he gets himself a bit of the nano boost, and he's just going to make it work. Whole Hog comes in, Meta finds hit him with a self-destruct, and LDLC are back in the driver's seat.
The tank play has been much, much better. When they were getting absolutely dominated, it was because Mezzo was just not finding any way to stay alive. Nevix does come in with the Dragon Blade, though, and getting a lot of damage done here. Does take down Clown, and there goes the remainder of LDLC. So Misfits will hold on to this, and despite LDLC switching things up and finding different ways, they are still back against the wall. This Earthshatter has to be the best Earthshatter we've seen from Mezzo so far.
Oh, I cursed them. I feel so bad now. They had such control, but eventually it was rested back in their favor. Pulse Bomb hits on the skipjack, but he just gets healed through it so easily. Earthshatter from Mesomorphous, yeah, he got cooler, but that's all he's going to find, and now he needs to put that shield up front and center, because Soon's going to come straight through. He's trying to barge him with the Death Blossom, he gets nothing for it. Good response and good nerve holding by Meza to keep that shield up, preventing Soon from getting much done. That Reaper not looking so hot right now, I'll be honest. And in overtime, it should be an opportunity for LDLC to flip it right on back. And not a lot of key ultimates are available right now for Misfits. They're going to have to grind this one out the old-fashioned way next.
Yeah, you just see the defense matrix coming in so huge there yet again, eating most of that Death Blossom as well. So Reaper is having a bit of a hard time. Again, I think you start by winning the fight by taking out Meat, or at least making him uncomfortable and out of the fight so that he can't use all the utility he's been providing the rest of his tanks.
Oh, Skipjack going to the back line here, trying to deal with two tanks, and very little success there. Meta eventually finds him, but they've managed to get rid of the big tank line and isolate the back line. That's good work by Misfits to know how to find the squishy core of LDLC, but it's going to be a self-destruct coming in. It's going to be nasty. No one can escape. A double kill coming out for Meta. Zebasine hit and falling down, but it may not be enough to turn this fight. Soon's trying to deal with Meta now, has to go in towards Wraithwalk, and again, Nevix gets up on that high ground. He's going to come in for another fight later on, but this is LDLC reinforcing well here, and the fight will continue with a sound barrier being put down.
Really nice sound barrier. Soon's going to try to spin his way through it, but the shields are just too much as he's taken down yet again. Most of the damage is yet nullified for Misfits. They're going to have to regroup here. Lucky for them, they are going to have a Graviton that could win this fight, but they have to be super careful because what is it? Mete? I've been calling him Meat, which I prefer.
I don't know. I honestly, Meta
I think that's the difference between the elegant accent and the American accent. Here comes Meat, but they got to be careful and not throw that Graviton into the defense matrix.
Oh, you slay me. Well, we'll see how it works. They got to break that shield from Mesomorphous to start with, and Nevix is already trying to work around the side. Skipjack goes in. Now, Uber and Mesomorphous are caught in that Graviton, but just two big tanks in the follow-up. Not convincing. Nevix is going to at least get himself a nano boost, but he didn't have a Dragon Blade to work with here, so he's just going to be throwing super-powered electric shurikens, and so far, I'm not really convinced. Still, Meza goes down, Meta eventually does fall, so after the ults are used, it is going to be Misfits to hang around as the smoke clears and have some control here. That doesn't mean they're going to win things out, because already those two tanks, Meza and Uber, are running back at the rate of knots to this point to try and stop it. It's flipped back. We're in overtime now. Misfits are not going to let them touch this point.
Meza's got to be careful. He is all alone. I'm not sure of that angle he took there, but they did not have much of a better choice. However, I don't know why you split up both your tanks who were in there. At least keep them together. They both went into a Hornet's Nest, jumped in face first, and got stung for it, and now they're getting cleaned up. After a bit of a scare, it will be Misfits taking the first map.
I tell you what, I'm glad we had such a great contest between these two teams, because it looked as if Misfits were going to run away with the whole show. The Sombra pick clearly kind of confused LDLC, but credit to them for coming up with a response, I guess, on the spot. It was a bit of a timeline of back and forth, a bit of a hero select chess game going on there, Slasher. I mean, let's talk about how we saw the counter from Misfits to deal with this tanky comp of LDLC over that last round.
I mean, yeah, triple tank is really the best way to go about this dive comp style. If you're going to run dive comp, you don't have hit scan, it's harder for you to take all the health down from triple tank, then Misfits had to respond back and, you know, change up their style as well. So I think we will honestly see more and more of this in the high end of competitive Overwatch, especially with the viability of all the heroes right now. You will see one team pick a set of heroes, then that will be countered next round, and that will have to be recountered the round after, especially in King of the Hill.
I liked it, though. I enjoy it. I enjoyed seeing the response as well coming out from LDLC to deal with it. And to be fair, it could have worked in that last round. I don't necessarily think the Misfits had a counter comp against them when we went towards control center on that last point. But seeing the Sombra come into the mix was good. But Hollywood going to be coming up here as well. Perhaps a bit more of a standard home ground map for Misfits here. Although I wasn't super convinced about that King of the Hill performance there, Hex. It seemed as if there were a couple holes here and there.
They did not have a perfect response to D.Va, but if Slasher is correct and she is just that strong right now, then I can understand it. But that was, you could pin when LDLC started pulling it back based on when they started switching those heroes too. I do worry that Reinhardt is maybe not perfect against that kind of composition. This map is all going to be about the Cafe. Who can take the Cafe over from what I assume will be a Soldier 76 on there? It's going to be interesting to see what supports they run. We've seen teams run a Mercy back there with the Soldier 76 to just kind of put all your eggs in that basket. And we've seen decent reses here and there as well on Hollywood. But a lot of it is going to be, I think we're going to see Cafe 76 versus Dive Comp, and who's going to win that initial fight. It will probably tell you the pace of the map.
We saw some interesting sort of face-offs in the previous game between Bonjour and Mousesports, actually, where you did see that defensive Soldier 76 that was benefiting from a Pocket Mercy with a healing and damage boost. And there was an attacking Soldier 76 that managed to get that high ground next to, the Gatorade containers, I guess, up on the middle, and realized, well, I can't actually burst through this other 76. I need to sort of approach it differently. But as Slasher always says, high ground is one of the most important sort of factors in this game to consider. I want to see how this is used here, because we saw a lot of flaws with the way Mousesports responded to that, or at least used it when they had the advantage. That, I feel, will have to be a defining factor here.
I mean, we've seen a lot of triple tank on Hollywood, and it really would not surprise me, considering how well it worked for them on King of the Hill, if we see LDLC go triple tank plus Soldier here on first point defense, at least.
Yeah. Hollywood's been such a strange map just based on how important high ground has been and how non-important it has been. And it seems to shift week to week, because there was an era on this map where you had to run Pharahs, and there was an era on this map where it was Widow v Widow battles. And I think for about the prior month, there's a lot of teams that just kind of don't even care about high ground all that much. Now lately we've seen McCree's get up there and take elevators, but I think we are now in the era where the high ground will be much more important, as we've seen Hanzos and things like that go uncontested on the high ground. But Hollywood is, sometimes people care about being on top of the building, sometimes they don't. I think right now with the hero pools and what we're seeing, high ground will be super important, and Nevix is going to be on the Genji to maybe try to take it. But this dive comp is real, in full effect. They're running triple DPS again. Zebo's already in the back lines as the Sombra, so it's going to be Tracer, Genji, Winston, Sombra all going in to take over this Cafe at some point, you have to think.
Yeah, I mean, Zebo now going to come around the backside here as well. He wants to get to the Cafe, and what a great way to do it as well. We talked about how important it is shutting down that Mercy. He goes for the hack on a sleeping clan, and it's all just too easy. Zebo gets planted and Clown, and now it should be just a cleanup here from Misfits. We kind of hinted at maybe seeing a Sombra on this kind of map earlier on the night, although we're kind of joking about it, but my god, it's worked very well here.
Perfect coordination. They got the Sombra into the back lines, and then the Winston jump, the Genji follow-up, and they just delete all the switches. The only three remaining are the tanks, and that's just because they have giant health pools, and honestly, they don't really care that those three tanks are there. It does not bother them at all, and now they're on another hunting mission as they spread their triple DPS as far forward as possible. They need to make sure that they come out of spawn as a group, because if anyone strays out here for even a moment, they will get triangulated.
And let's not forget that Sombra can access this high ground with her translocator if she does need to, so no one's really safe in that regard. She can do it while she's invisible. And look at this, we see Skipjack jumping up top. They're denying the high ground vantage points away from LDLC. There is no chance for that squad now to use it, but soon, a little bit too close for comfort. He gets hooked out of midair by Uber. You do need to respect that man up close, and now it'll be the counter engage from LDLC. Dragonblade being used there, but Mesomorphos actually gets a little bit caught out against Skipjack. It's going to be the big hack, the EMP used as well. That's so nasty. Uber goes down now. Meta, not much you can do about this one, as Zebasai just trying to tease him. He will fall, but this payload is just blistering through the Wild West phase.
They tried this thing where they ignore kind of the high ground, and they say, well, if you guys want to just sit up there and try to spam us for a while, we're going to take our 6 and go kill your 4, but they got collapsed upon, and that EMP absolutely devastated them. No abilities up, just absolutely crushed. They are going to get grenaded now too, and they need to find a way to stop the bleeding. Maybe, no, never mind. Both supports down. This is still going to be a terrible fight for LDLC.
Yeah, I mean, the tanks are alive, and that's never a good sign at the end of the fight. Uber and Mesomorphos still stand. They're going to be picked up eventually as they lack support of their own. The damage is just not going to be there for the side of LDLC. Soon, though, is picked off there, a little bit careless, and does fall prey to a self-destruct. And now Zebasai is trying to get focused down by Meta, who does find him. Good response. Now, with Skipjack on his own, he heads to the top of the building and won't be able to just sit up there freely. Meta's going to chase him, shield out, and well, Skipjack gets away. Credit to him, but he will have to regroup with the rest of his team.
a lot of this, again, is on the D.Va here. She's absolutely been crushing it. A pretty decent response to a Winston, especially in one of those 1v1s. Yeah, you're going to get tickled down, but I think her damage output is a little bit better. As you see, Skipjack thinks better of going up there. Don't know if he saw the locator. He did, so he's just going to camp the locator in the odd chance that Sombra does show up. But they are going to come in right now. Nevix gets the boost, the blade, the 3-kill.
Yeah, that's all you need. And soon just sort of backing up on that one. When all you need is one ult with a Genji to sort of break a fight, you know you're doing pretty well here. It's enough for LDLC just to, like you put it earlier on, hang with Misfits on this map so far. And eventually they are going to be sort of kicked out of the party, not invited as it were. And the bubbles comes in from Skipjack just to make it easy enough, shield that damage away. And as one by one, LDLC are falling. That second checkpoint comes up here with a huge amount of time available. 4.5 minutes left here. This last push will be the tricky one. And I wonder if we still see the Sombra being picked up here for Zevo.
Well, he's so close to an ultimate that you'd have to think so, especially in this meta, and especially with how important her ultimate can be, because they will completely shut down a sound barrier, so you could save it even. Use your own sound barrier, then use the EMP on a response sound barrier and absolutely clean that up. They are off of the Soldier 76. I think Clanton was not having very good success on it. He's finding a little more comfort in his home hero of the McCree. There goes the Sombra hack. That EMP is off.
Yeah, Mesomorphos does well to charge down Zeverside, but he's got bigger fish to fry, and unfortunately the frying pan's not big enough. Self-destruct comes in. Meta actually finds him with that one. Doesn't really stop the payload though, and he's still 3-man up now, but Uber cuts it down a little bit more. He's going to now just exacerbate the man advantage even further. The fact that this man finds Skipjack with a hook, and then soon with God knows what it was, mouse 1 or 2. Beautiful by him. Again, hitting hooks when he has to, but it just doesn't seem to quite be enough for LDLC.
Their disengage has been pretty solid, though. They could lose more in a lot of these fights, but they wait until everything dies down a little bit, and then things get a little scattered around, start hitting hooks, start isolating people with D.Va. That's how they're turning these fights back, because the only remaining heroes are generally their tanks, and the tanks have come to play. Here comes another Dragon Blade from Nevik. A blade, a boost, 1 kill so far.
It is almost inevitable. He gets into the back line, finds Clanton comfortably and up, and now Skipjack as well with himself a nano boost here, enough to keep Mesomorphos at bay. Still 4 players left for LDLC, backed up, a little bit of a late sound barrier, and that better be enough for LDLC to hold on here. Clearly it's enough to convince the side of Misfits that they should be backing away here. So they will hold, but ults would definitely use it en masse by LDLC to keep themselves afloat.
Did you say inevitable?
Maybe.
You're lucky I have the dumbest sense of humor. I found it great.
Well, he had a Dragon Blade, he's in the back line, it's on supports, it's all the same, let's be honest, it did work out for the most part.
Well, Mez does have this Earthshatter up, and Oob's going to have his whole hog, so they definitely have a huge advantage there. That Earthshatter hits nothing. Mez is like 1 for 8 on Earthshatter so far this round. He's had a tough one on Reinhardt.
And Uber's just giving everyone a one-way ticket to Hook City. Again, finds Nevix as he tries to sneak his way into the backline. Man, with a guy like this at their home, it's going to be incredibly hard for Misfits to filter through these closer quarters out into that last courtyard and get a push. The thing is, though, they do have that Graviton from Zeverside. If they really want to dig deep into their pockets and use that spare change, they're also going to have an Earthshatter to back it up here. So, hard to mess this up, if I'm honest with you.
I like the Mei pick too, because they've been getting picked apart by the hook. Mei is really pretty decent against it if you can get that wall up to help out your team, to get your own ice block up. It's also very good against the D.Va, who has been giving them fits still. Mez goes a giant charge. What was that?
I'm not really sure. He still finds Hidden, and that's the best part. He's a little bit out of position, and that's the problem. He needs to run back to this point. His backline's getting taken apart. Uber, though, another hook. You can always count on that one. Death, Tactors, and Uber hooks. 3 things in life that you can't avoid. Still, Cabal falls. Meza gets caught up there, frozen solid. And now Uber, unfortunately, is going to take more than hooks to get himself out of this one. But Meta gets on. Knocks some people off the payload. Soon's Death Blossom is not really going to be greeted by anyone. No one there to see the breakdance effort. And eventually, he will be able to pick up Uber, who does hook still. Nevix of all people, with the nano boost here. And it's going to get that payload across surely. A crazy charge by Meza over towards to keep this one going. It's not going to be enough. 1 minute and 8 seconds left on the clock here. But a good hold on the last stage coming out from LDLC. Much better than their performance earlier on in the round.
Able to stabilize. Slasher, what do you think of some of the picks and counter picks that we came out there? Do you like Mei as much as I did to try to close out that map, or is there something else you saw?
I mean, Mei is still really good.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. The Mei ult charge is a lot less now, so you don't get ult every 30 seconds. Oh, boo-hoo, Mei players. But it's still a really solid kit, and you can still, delay the card a long time. And even on offense, you can cause a lot of problems. I think, LDLC did the best at the very last point, because dive comp is not able to do as much on Third Point Hollywood just because of the confined space. That's why you saw Misfits in response go Reinhardt and Reaper, etc., etc. It took him a few tries to finally get it over the edge, but it's going to be really hard, I think, for LDLC to break this. And Misfits, a team who've been making triple DPS work in times when it should not work, are continuing to show the evolved version of this.
Yeah, I mean, and even if they want to throw a Mei, okay, not a Mei. I was going to get on a completely different line of thinking. Zebasai is playing Torbjorn here to start things off, and I'm happy to see it. I'm also very quizzical about its prospects of success, gentlemen. But at least we have a Mei from Nevix, so not everything has been turned upside down.
Well, you know what? No wonder Crew is gone, because this wouldn't happen if Crew was there. This is what Zebasai wanted all along.
He's been let off the chain, boys. It's all downhill from here.
I believe they call it creative differences. Is what do you call those kind of things?
Oh god, I can't even deal with this. I mean, all right, so there's going to be a turret on the off angle. Now, this obviously will require some attention from LDLC in the short term to be demanded on dealing with that one. How long and how taxing that's going to be for them really remains to be seen if they're quick to respond here, especially because there's not anyone playing close to the turret to try and distract attention away from it. So, I don't know, boys. I'm not super convinced of this one. We'll
it's just hanging out there, like, it's there because it builds so fast anyway that it doesn't matter that he loses that one right there. A lot of it is just so they get armor generation here, as that armor is going to just build up passively as well. And, you know, it can be hard to deal with. Teams aren't used to dealing with it, but they do have the composition to absolutely wreck a turret and take advantage of it as well. Zebo, though, you know, the dwarf still has a good gun, and he takes down Clan.
Yeah, riveting performance so far there from Zebo. He gets that right click actually in the face of Clanton, so that's pretty nasty to start with Meza falling down as well. Uber, all those hooks normally hit, but unfortunately he doesn't have the tracking device on that one now as Nevix comes forward, forcing on to Ice Block early and can't heal because of the Bite Grenade, and Clown's going to harass him a bit, force him back off the edge. But Meta finds Soon after Cabal falls, and this is still a chance for LDLC to keep going. They're happy with this. Decent trades. They've actually got some staggered spawns coming out.
Those are great trades, and everyone was very low. Nevix lucky to stay alive right there as we do isolate Meta out in here on the open. As the Reinhardt, he's going to have to charge out of there, and they get a couple nice kills. There goes the Reinhardt, and his turret is down, so it'll be interesting to see if Zebo even comes back up on that. He did have the Molten Core ready too, so that's why he's going to stay on it. Molten Core is still a very good ultimate. I don't know if he's going to even have the turret mode for it. They do boost the McCree though. Here comes the Electric Cowboy looking for headshots. Doesn't get any. They're stuck in the corner though.
Yeah, decent flash, but Uber hits the hook and Soon is down. Now Graviton on the point is going to be cooler, and Skipjack caught in. A good wall up though, keeps Core out of trouble, and now the Blizzard comes through. And Zebo doesn't have a Molten Core turret, but he's got a pretty damn hot rivet gun to go with. Unfortunately though, he's taken down by Zebasai. And I'm of the opinion, if your Torbjorn doesn't get a Molten Core turret, he's not worth taking on that first point. That point should now be going over towards LDLC. They took their sweet time, to be fair, gents, but they'll have their cake, they'll eat it too. They'll also have Old Mate Halfred Glitchbot on the move.
They've got a ton of ultimates to work with too, but right now Oob is just carrying. There's not much else way to say it. He is having a dominant performance. He has been completely just murdering the rest of the team. Right now, he might struggle, though, as he's on low ground looking for picks. He doesn't really have a great way to get up there. They don't really have much to challenge high ground. You might just see a dragon shot up through this roof just to get them off the top.
I'm fine with that, Clan. You can let the beast go. That doesn't bother me too much. Nevix actually avoids the hook from Uber. Now he gets nano boosted. I don't know why Uber's nano boosted at all. It makes no sense. They didn't really know the fight was supposed to be happening there. Soon takes down Meza to start with, and Nevix is in the background with a sound barrier just to be that nuisance and stick to those targets. That was just a nightmare of a fight there for LDLC from start to finish.
I think he got in the way of something there. I cannot think of a good reason to boost him. The only time you want to boost your Roadhog with the Ana ultimate is when he's got Whole Hog up, because his clip is simply too small to be effective, and it doesn't really give him much of a boost. Like, he needs to hit a hook and kill someone, but then the boost does not help him do either of those things.
Doesn't change animation time or the frames that it takes to reload, so you don't have much DPS. Great hook though. Uber meets Zebasai just as his feet hit the ground, but soon does find Cabal there. That was with the Deadeye. It's going to be a sound barrier forced out of Clan, but he's lacking teammates. Still, Uber might be worth two in this case. Another hook from him. Skipjack finds him. Stop it. This is ridiculous.
4 kills. 4
okay,
kills.
I'm done. I'm so done.
I mean, we don't throw the term around carrying very often in Overwatch because it is very difficult to do, and I'm sure he's getting healed in supports, but that is 5 individual kills from Ube, and those aren't like cleanup kills or anything like that. Those were hooks and deletions. He is on fire.
Yeah, I'm going to get sent to because there are like some things on the internet you can't access in Germany. It's like a Gemma thing. That's definitely not going to be allowed to be shown here as well. So sorry, German viewers, that's not going to be a thing. Meza gets completely caught out. Oh my god. I can't shout. I can't shout right now. I'm not allowed to. I've got freaking roommates close by, but that was incredible stuff. Uber again, all over that kill feed. It's not just the hooks, guys. It's the shrapnel. He's letting it rip, and there's nothing Misfits can do.
I think if he has another somewhat run like he's doing right now, they're going to have to. Yeah, the Reaper is switched on to soon. Actually, I missed that happen earlier, but that has to. You have to have an answer for him. He's the only problem against your team right now. They are going to get the Dragon Blade out. Not enough kills so far. Nevix does take out Clanton. He is in the back lines. They are going to clean this up on the chase. Oob misses a hook. Get that man off your team. How useless. And he does get a kill late onto Zebo, but they do switch up to deal with Oop. Oh my god, takes Nevix yet again. I want to see his hook accuracy. It's got to be 90%.
Yeah, I mean, he's missing like 1 in 10 at the absolute most there. I mean, beautiful stuff from him. The problem is, unfortunately, he can't advance too much more. It's a very long sight line, and Roadhog struggles with that a little bit, especially on his own. So another missed hook there as well as soon. Probably just actually great form because he was so afraid of it now. We will see 2 ults in play, though. There's going to be the Primal Rage and the Earth Shatter here for Skipjack to use, but Uber, he's got a whole hog ready to go, and he's been giving him the whole hog so far. Jump in, Zebasai hooked as he hits the ground. This is getting disgusting now. This is not the right time of night for this. It needs to be a little bit later on. Prime time hours are not appropriate for this kind of thing. But Soon gets 2. Cabal and Clanton do fall now. It's going to be Nevix jumping back to join the rest of his team. Another one for Soon now. Time to kill? Maybe not. Uber going to be on his own here and should go down. If he gets a kill off the back of this one, okay, good. All right, some things in life just aren't supposed to happen.
Well, there's 2 ways to deal with someone who's having a performance like Oob. You can either focus him and take him out of the fight first, or completely ignore him and make him kind of useless to his team by murdering everyone around him. And that's what they chose to do there. You'll notice the last couple fights, he was the last one left alive, and that was by design, as they say, well, we just simply don't have the perfect answer to him, so let's just not even bother. The other 5 look like much better choices for us, and that's exactly what they did in that last fight. 30 seconds left, so this is going to be the last push. Cabal does have his Ana boost ready. No great targets for it right now, though, with that speed going down, and no one else has an ultimate on that team. They're pushing into 3. This is going to be rough sledding for LDLC.
23 seconds remain on the clock now, and LDLC, for all the glitz and glam that Uber's had so far, they haven't made the progress they needed to, and Zebo finds Mede to start it off. Meza now going to take a lot of damage coming through when Nevix finds Uber. That's going to be the kill shot, no doubt about it. Now Clanton stuck on the payload purely just to stall here, hopefully trying to deal with Soon, but again, hard when there's going to be a Hellfire shotgun. Put up each nostril and fired there. That'll be it. 1 second remaining, and it will be Misfits to take it out 2-0. But tell you what, they gave us a hell of a show. LDLC should be commended on what they've given us so far.
I'm very surprised they did hang with them, which is what I wanted to see from them, especially on King of the Hill. They had some interesting swaps, and they played the pick'em game, the rock, paper, scissors pretty well, so that was interesting. Misfits is just that good of a team that they can beat anyone even when someone is having the game of their life on the other side. Unfortunately, well, we did get to see the new skin, but I think Oob deserves MVP of that match for sure.
Yeah, beautiful stuff from him. And the reality is that a lot of people get frustrated by Roadhog because his hook hits pretty comfortably as well. But if you can do work outside that 6-second window when your hook's down, and get multiple kills like that in short shrift, that really is how you separate the wheat from the chaff, you know, or the runt of the litter when it comes to hogs, as it were. But Slasher, I mean, outside of Uber's performance there as well, I do think we do need to be somewhat critical of LDLC there on Hollywood especially. Is, yeah, great, Roadhog's getting kills, but they were just far too slow on that pushing, if that wasn't already obvious.
Yeah, Mitch, you just gotta kill the whole team within 6 seconds. No problem. Hook is really balanced. Can't wait to continue 6-second hooks. Really fits, Blizzard. Thumbs up. You know what? Besides what he was able to do, yeah, they had some issues getting things together. But to be honest, Misfits were pretty much right under Rogue as best team in the world. They won the Overwatch Open. You know they're such a good team anyway. It's really hard to, you know, compare one team to another when the other team is like top 3 teams in the world right now. So yes, I think LDLC had some problems getting things going. They maybe have some identity issues and types of what type of comps they want to play, but I think we'll be able to see much more of their team in the next match rather than their game against Misfits. I mean, they'd rather play a more of a hit scan type of game, but I think that Roadhog is going so well, and Roadhog can have such a big impact that if you're able to get that many picks and kill half the team every 6 seconds, then you may as well keep running it until it doesn't work anymore. Especially when something like Ana Reaper can't get in on Roadhog anymore without speed with Lucio. You can't just Ana boost the Reaper and have him go kill the whole team.
I mean, what do you got to wrap up on that one there, Hex, before we throw to a break? I think as impressive as it was from LDLC, Misfits are the Misfits.
Yeah, I expect Misfits to be at the finals against NIP. I mentioned that earlier. FaZe could be interesting, though. FaZe we will see next versus LDLC. They are my favorites to maybe play upset in this tournament here, because I think Misfits and NIP are just a cut above right now. But FaZe, really? They're a team that they recently just got bodied by Cloud9, and they need to bounce back. They're a team that can tilt. They're a very momentum-based team. When they're playing well, they look like world beaters. And then when they get a little bit off, they get very, very off. So if LDLC can come out swinging and take an early stage or an early map against FaZe, they could be in a little bit of trouble in our next set.
Well, we've seen teams struggle to bounce back in situations like that. And FaZe have had a pretty disappointing couple months, sort of missing out on qualifications for more than one major tournament by one map sometimes. So let's see if they've got the killing edge and what they need to take things out. It's going to be FaZe versus LDLC after the break.